Sam McCall, physical therapist, posture princess, lover of movement. Today I want to kind of review something that I read out of AARP. It was pretty cool. They talked about some things you should do to prevent falling. So even if you're young, people are falling a lot, I'm noticing, and they really do have balance issues. And so this article in AARP just talked about, where was it? Whoopsie. It talked about the few things that you want to do to keep from falling. I would show it to you, but it's in this AARP. That's good enough. Okay? And it said, fear of falling, fight back. And so it had start with sit to stand, which I teach a little different than they do. And then they said practice flamingo, which means standing on one leg, which is what walking is. So if I give you good walking skill today, that will do that. Then it said carry an object. I did that last week. I showed you how to carry bags. So go to my YouTube channel and just look, carrying bags. That's carrying weight because it creates a neurological challenge for you to take weight and move with it. So that was last week. That was fun. And then walk with intention. So today I'm going to be focusing on walking with intention. And there are a lot, I'm going to kind of do two things. I'm going to do balancing on one leg and walking with one intention because they go together in my world. So here's the deal. One of the easiest ways to start with the concept of walking with intention is to put something on your head that is lightweight, not my glasses. Here is a wash rag. A wash rag. Okay. You can put a wash rag on your head because, oh my God, that's not too heavy, but it does give you a sensory feedback to press up into. So here I am. I'm pressing up into this wash rag. Now, I also personally like Beanie Babies. I like them because a little more balance action, there's a little bit more weight, not bad. This is one of these iPad cover, these things you can put over your eyes, and you can put that on your head. It's a little slippery, so you might not like that. I'm kind of a fan of something that doesn't slip so that you don't have to be putting so much of your intention on keeping it from sliding off and more of your intention on pressing up. Okay? So it's simple, and it makes a difference if you'll do two things. Press up, relax your belly. Relax your belly, press up. If you do that a few times, you'll start to feel that when you press up, the muscles right here will start to engage. They're connected to your neck. Your neck is one of the stiffest parts of your body. I've just discovered this, and I'm saying that to a Western audience. I could not say that to someone who lives in Africa and carries something on their head. I'm saying it to the people that I see day in and day out in this society. This is one of the stiffest things on us because we kind of come over our phone. We have posturally gotten stuck. Okay. So when I say something stiff, that means you're going to have to give it a little more attention. You're going to have to be a little more patient. You're going to have to be willing to practice it a little more and just lighten up and don't expect something in one day. You might have a little soreness. You may feel some shifts, but it's very connected to your whole body. So what I like to tell people is if they'll relax here and they'll stretch up, and it's back here that the stretching up is happening from. And I'm a fan of using my hands to do this a few times, or if you have long hair, to pull your hair. And if you don't have long hair, it's a little more challenging, so you have to use your hands like that. So when I first started doing this many years ago, I would put my hand back there, I'd press up, and then I would press my chest down. Why do I press my chest down? Because there's a shortness in here, and there's a tendency to feel that tightness. And when the chest lifts up, it begins to cause the whole structure to go into the wrong place, and then your upper back and your shoulder blades cannot, the muscles around that area cannot engage right, And there's just a whole lot going on between here, here, and the neck. Okay? So it's kind of like, why don't we just take the outer shell of where we feel tension, and let's just work with that, because it will go very deep. So I'll repeat again. If I want to stand with intention, which I'm going to walk in a second, but if I want to stand with intention, I want the neck to stretch up into something. I want to relax this, and I want this to go down. So I press down with my hands. I'm pressing in and down. I stretch my neck up, and I relax here. Those three principles can be taken with you wherever you go. Relax, stretch up, relax down, or press down. The reason I use pressure is because then I feel it better. If I just say I'm going to relax my chest down, you've got to have a pretty good feel in your body. But if I put my hands here, press in and press down, and stretch my neck up, I have opposition, and that opposition is really good stimulus. Press down, stretch up, relax. Why I relax here is because there's so much of our muscles and soft tissue that are connected to the pelvis. And I don't want to get into a big conversation about the position of the pelvis, because I have that on so many videos. You can just run to my shorts, or you can run to my videos, and you can learn a lot about pelvic positioning and get more out of that. But let's just start here by relaxing the belly. I find people with back pain, people with neck pain, people who aren't comfortable walking, when they start to relax their stomach, they're always shocked at how much they hold tension there. And then they don't like the fact that it just sticks out everywhere. Well, I understand that. I don't blame you. But here's the catch. It doesn't stick out if I start to stretch up. I begin to make that connection, okay? I make that connection, and then I use walking, a very organic, normal, natural movement that humans do since we've been upright, and that too can work this area and tighten it up if I'm walking with intention. I'm stretching up. If I walk like this, I doubt my abs are going to get a whole lot of attention. And the structure is not either. So if you're worried about osteoporosis, the more your bones are stacked as they're designed to be stacked, walking with intention, and I'm pointing to this because I always press up, then I'm going to have my bones more in line with gravity, and that's a plus. Okay? So I want to have one more point that I've heard many times. People will say, I should feel like I'm stretching a string. A string should be pulling my head tall. I'm not a fan of that expression because I don't think it's a natural, normal concept. And the human body really, really loves to do things that it's designed to do. I don't pull strings out of my head. It doesn't make sense to my body. But if I put something on my head and I press up into it as if I'm carrying a pot or carrying a basket, and I press up, that intention makes sense to my body. That experience feels different. So try it. I press up into something, or I tell myself to stretch up like a string out of my head. This gives me stimulus, that touch of the platypus on my head, that is feedback. Now, over the many years I've been doing this, since the early 90s, I have become more and more intrigued by the fact that the body responds much quicker, much more normal, and much engages more fully, is a good way of saying it, when it's asked to do something with a purpose. If it has a purpose And that may sound really abstract to you, like, well, the body doesn't know whether it's a purpose or not. Yeah, it does. And I don't understand that, but it makes sense. You know, animals move. They don't move for fashion. They do downward dog because it works for a four-legged animal and they don't have collarbones. I mean, they're functional. They do purposeful movement. Why wouldn't we want to do things that have a purpose? Pulling a string out of the top of my head is not a purposeful movement. Me carrying, you can even get a basket of laundry that's really light, and you can put a basket up there and hold it gently and walk down the hall. That is a purpose. And when you do that, I could sit and talk to you as a PT and say, well, that's great. You're getting range of motion in both of your shoulders. You're getting bilateral stimulus. Your scapulas are doing the right thing. They're sitting on your back right. You're moving with weight. That's called a neurological challenge that we need. I mean, God, Lord, do you really want to hear all that? But that's what you get from a PT, is they're going to tell you all the reasons. And that's fine, but I care that you experience this and find out for yourself whether it works or not. So, here I go. So what am I going to do about walking? Well, I want to keep it simple again, right? So I may have to have you do this at the grocery store to get this principle down really well. And I've got it on other videos. But I want you to think that you're pushing a grocery cart, or you could do that, a grocery cart. If you have a walker, use your walker by pushing it. Now, most people aren't going to have a walker, and people that do have walkers tend to think they're cripples, but they're not. They need to just use the walker as a tool, not as a crutch. So if I have a shopping cart and I am pushing this shopping cart gently with my shoulders, but I'm also pushing with my back leg. So I push off, I push off, I push off. Now, what I have some people do to get this concept in their body is I have them get on a treadmill and jack that treadmill up really high and take the speed down really low, like they're just walking up a hill. You know, walking up a street hill, walking up a mountain, walking upstairs, whatever you want to walk up, but take it slow and increase the grade so that when you walk, you feel, oh, this foot catches me, this foot pushes me forward, this foot catches me, this foot pushes me forward. Now, another principle, and you may not relate to this, but I can also just lean forward and catch myself. If I catch myself, then I'm in the same posture. I catch myself. Okay? So I just want to give you that little piece because that's balancing on one leg. When we walk, if we shuffle, we don't have good balance because we can't trust one leg very long. We have to shift, 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 shift because our balance is demanding 2 feet right away. But if I lean forward and I push off and I have this leg in the air, that is a balancing move. That is a balancing move. Notice that I'm leaning a little forward. My back is straight, but my hips are back a little because most people need that. Most people feel like they can push off better if they have a little lean. If they're way upright, it's harder to push in the beginning. It's just a beginning and gradual thing. My center of my body is down here. And if I put it back a little with a straight spine, I can get the feel of pushing off better. So, walking with intention and balancing on one leg can be the same. I press up, or can not be the same, but can come together. I press up, I push off, I push off, I push off. So that's 2 of the things in the AARP magazine that talked about helping for fall prevention. And basically, to me, that is just foundational movements that I teach. My whole career, my whole business, my whole philosophy is if you have a strong foundation, strong as in feeling where your bones are and balancing with gravity, you can be strong, you have great balance, you attractive because there's a great tone, you have choices of things you can do, and you just enjoy your life better. Your back pain or your pain goes away, and you are preventing pain. So it's just, everything's connected. I can't help it. It's just the way it is. So I start with something simple: press up, walk with intention, push off. You're balancing on one leg. Right there, we've hit quite a few subjects right there, just by walking. There you go. Very good.
A couple of these questions you might have answered later on, but people were confused about the balancing and walking. Confused, balancing, and walking. You say it's the same thing. I don't understand about standing on one leg and how that's walking. Diane in Evanston.
Okay, let me review it real quick. When I walk and I put one foot down and I'm bringing my weight over that leg. When I pick this leg up, the minute that leg comes off the ground, that's a balance. Balance, balance, balance. I'm slowing this down. Balance, balance, down. I have 2 feet on the ground for a very short period of time. Push off, balance, 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 down. Shuffle. The guy that shuffles, the girl that shuffles, barely has a foot off the ground, needs both at the same time due to not really good balance. Get on a treadmill, get on an incline, experience what I'm saying. Or if you have a house that's on a hill, that can help. Just go find a hill. But walk up the hill and feel how you're pushing off with your back leg. You're not going to understand near as well until you put yourself in that situation. I may have conceptually answered your question, but I will not really answer your question until you have the ability to practice it. So hopefully y'all are pressing up and getting this right now, feeling this.
Will in San Diego says, my PT says I should keep my head over my butt when I walk.
I think that your head is over your butt. I'm not quite sure what that PT means, but here, that's a little, I'm going to tell you how I see it. These are the leg bones. This hip area could be considered your butt. I think of this as the butt behind me. You know, we're technically sort of maybe overlapping. Bone, spine bone, spine bones, and up. So I'm going to tell you, you should look at my book. I really go into visual detail. McCall Body Balance Method book. I really show you what a upright posture looks like with an X-ray, with a plumb line, lining up bones. Because when we say butt, oof, even if I say it or they say it, it's just gray. And so you want the weight of your body really in line with bone. We all know that. I mean, your PT knows that. Thigh bone. The greatest amount of surface area in a bone that stacks on the next bone means that bone will less likely break down because we need to. It's like your house. If your house is leaning a little or gets a crack, it's because the foundation it's got a shear for it. It's not upright. But you need a visual for that. So I highly recommend either buying, my book is like, I mean, there's used books, my book is used all over the world. I mean, you can buy it for almost nothing. Or you can do it online. But you need a visual to understand and not believe your PT, not believe me. Go look and see what do they mean by standing with my head over my butt. What does that mean? Question it, and find out more specifically for you.
Let's see here. Barry in San Jose says, it feels good for me to lift up my chest instead of dropping it like you want me to. Is that bad?
I'm not a big chest lifter fan because it compresses the low back. What I need you to tell me, if you want to ask the question again, is what feels good. You see, and you should test this. I think you should test this because you know why? Believe me. If you lift your chest all day long, something back here has to take that load in a way that it is not necessarily designed to take. When I study ethnic movement for many years, these people carry huge amounts of weight on their shoulder, their head, and all over. And there is no chest lifting. Now, why is that? Is a good question. The front of my body and the back of my body should mirror each other. So here's what let's put my hand here. Let's put my hand here. If I lift my chest, then I'm going to be collapsing my back. If I bring my chest down, I am more in the front and back, mirroring or having they're equal in stacking is a word. What I'm showing you is counter to what a lot of posters and posture people may say. I really don't look at what they say. I look at how the body is built and who seems to do this the best in the world. And it's not Westerners. And a lot of the chest up thing came from the military. And that isn't necessarily going to tell you what's right or wrong. It's going to just show you where we possibly got it. At least that's when I studied. The military was where we did a lot of imitating good posture. Now this isn't physiology. This is cultural. So when I go to cultures that carry things on their head and they squat, I have to take what I learn and adapt it to our culture. Not structurally how we stand, but I don't promote a lot of deep squatting because of the limitations we have with our toilets, our chairs, and everything. So physiology is what you want to look at. How should the bones stack? And then you take away, like the military, you take away these social ideas and you put those aside and look and see what makes sense. Does it make sense to lift, or does it make sense to let that drop and this lengthen and they mirror each other? Try it for a while. Try both. Press up, let your chest come down. Spend a day doing that. Spend a day with your chest up. Find out for yourself what does feel right. It's your body.
Stephanie and Williams says, for me, the string image makes sense because pulling up to me means stretching.
Yeah, but that's your brain that's talking and answering, okay? Your body may feel stretch with the string, and your body may feel stretch with something on your head. But what you have to do is you have to spend time doing things with the one and the other. You know what I mean? You have to kind of like comparatively speaking. So I recommend that you get a laundry basket that doesn't have a lot in it. Let's just say you're going to carry your laundry up here and not real heavy. And you carry it, put it on your head, and you need to walk to the other room and back. You need to feel what that feels like. And then you need to put your laundry in front of you and feel what it feels like. Because if you put something that has real purpose, instead of a platypus, you put a laundry basket, a couple of towels, whatever you want to do, and you walk around, you're going to feel a lot more than just stretch. You're going to feel a lot more that's engaged, a lot more balance. You're practicing carrying while moving. You're practicing balance. You're practicing upright walking. You're practicing so many things that the body craves, to be honest with you. And that, in comparison to pulling a string out of your head, if pulling a string out of your head just helps you just go, you know what, that just works. For some reason, I stretch up better. Then do it. Do it. But don't eliminate the other. Don't make an either or out of it. Do both. If one works, do it. If they both work, do it. But don't either or black and white this. Just give yourself a chance to feel more alignment with the basket.
Gigi in Portland says, walking with intention. What part of my foot should be hitting the ground when I'm walking that way? Okay, so this is always a big question when heel strike or, all these things. And so I like for you to do this. I want you to go online and look at ice skaters. Because I always like the way ice skaters do. So ice skaters are, if you'll notice how they skate, they push off and then they land. And when they land, it's a very smooth transition from heel, mid, foot. It's not a whack. It's not a heel whack. It's not that. It's a transition. It's smooth. And I think that's a very good way to look at it because they have to balance on that little blade, on that slick ice. And so their bodies have to really do it right. And so when you see that, you go, okay, well, that looks good. And then another thing you can practice in the winter is if there's some ice on your driveway or something, you will notice that you walk, and when you step, you do a heel toe, but you will walk with more intention and more. Your posture and your way of walking will have a lot better. It will work better. It's like when we put challenges like a grocery cart or ice skater, when we put these challenges in front of us, or the treadmill, when we have different challenges, that helps the body self-correct. You don't even have to think about it. It just corrects itself because it's trying to do the right thing. That's the best way. Not from here. I could tell you don't go heel strike, but that doesn't really help. Near like grocery cart, treadmill, you're really watching that gentle heel onto the midfoot. That is like an ice skater. Yeah, that's it. Tim in Page says, I don't get how you can stand tall and lean forward and walk at the same time.
Okay, so I'm tall right now. This is standing tall to me, okay? I'm pressing up into this. Now I'm standing tall and leaning forward a little. What's the opposite of that? Standing tall. This is not standing tall. I'm bending forward. I'm hinging, a little hinge. When you go upstairs, you do this and don't even think about it. If I'm walking up steps, very few people do this. Very few people stand straight up and walk upstairs. What they tend to do is lean into the hill, stairs being the hill. Do a slight lean, put the foot up, slight lean, but my back is still straight. Many years ago, Europeans, you could see a European person walking down the street, and this is why you see him walk. With a slight lean, just a slight lean. Back is straight. So, you've got to try this. You've got to experience this. We are way too information-based here about the body, and we're way low on experience with the body. So, walk with your hands back here, down the street, around your house, and tell me, is your back straight? Yes. Are you doing a slight lean? Yes. And then you find out what that means from your body's perspective.
Bernadette in Tucson says, Okay, I've tried this and I need your help. To walk with intention, should I focus on long strides or short strides to balance better?
Okay, that's a really good question. And here's what since I don't know your height, I don't know your situation, and I don't know you, I'm going to recommend that you don't think about how long your stride is, because you could be thinking, this is a long stride, or you could be thinking, this is a long stride, and both of those are very hard to, that's a whole nother subject. So what if, instead of thinking about a long stride, you thought about pushing something and you felt that when you were walking, you were pushing from the leg back here, that you pushed and you pushed. I think you may feel like the stride is a little small. I just don't know, because I don't have you standing in front of me. But I do know that if you push a grocery cart, or feel like you're falling forward, or go on a treadmill or a hill and push off, that what is more important is that you know where you're walking somewhat from. Most people don't know it, but they walk a lot from the groin. And the reason they do is they sit a lot, and then they get up, and this area is kind of tight, and the posture is in a sitting position while they're standing. It's like a sitting, standing kind of deal. And then what ends up happening is there's a lot more activity here than needs be. It needs to be more from back here. This is called your posterior chain of your body. You see this in great athletes all the time. Basketball, football, they're all pushing off, they're all moving forward, from the backside. Just scale that down to your level with the same idea.
Diane and Ben says, you're talking about walking on an upper incline like in a treadmill. What can I learn, if anything, if I try to walk straight and tall when I'm walking downhill?
Okay, downhill's a little more complicated. You're going to have to lean a little into the hill and stick your butt out. Your center of gravity. I tell people, lean into the hill. Am I going uphill? Here's the hill. I'm leaning into the hill. Am I going downhill? I'm leaning into the hill. Going downhill is complicated. I have a couple of videos on it, because we don't like to lean. We don't like to not have our face out. We have to go down hills with our hips forward and our face out like this. It's not very comfortable to the hips and the knees. So make subtle changes. Practice uphill first. It will help you on so many levels. And if you really struggle with downhills, go backwards downhill. If you're like out walking and you go, I hurt when I go downhill, then go downhill backwards, toe heel. And it's one of the most powerful little balancing exercises I teach people, is to go down hills on the street or wherever, toe heel, toe heel, toe heel. You'll find yourself leaning, and your balance will improve dramatically, instead of me going into a short explanation of how to do it forward. Make hill walking, make it one of the greatest exercises you have. Just walk up and down a hill, or on your walk, put a hill or two in there. It's phenomenal.
Last question is from Kevy in Scottsdale. I have sore knees. Should I be landing on the incline so that the weight of my body is absorbed in each knee? It feels like it when I'm on the treadmill.
Usually on treadmills, people hit too hard because it's flat. If you increase that incline on that treadmill and you slow it down, you're going to be more climbing up the hill, and that will be easier on your knees. What I see on treadmills people do is they have it going too fast, and what they end up doing is they hit, and you hear this pounding sound, and that's what the knees don't like. increase the incline, decrease the speed, climb up slow. Knees like you for that. Okay, now here's the story. I'm going to take a break from doing Facebook Lives, which I've been doing for, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, I can't remember. And I'm going to start doing shorter videos. This is like a 30-minute time. So I'm going to do a video a couple of times a month on whatever subject that I think y'all may want. Please email me if you like at mccallmethod.com and tell me what you're interested in. And I'm going to do those videos for a while so that you have them access to my YouTube channel and you can go back and look. And please feel free to email me, McCallMethod.com, and let me know what subjects, what ideas, what you want to work on. You can say anything. I've heard everything. You name it, I've heard it. I love hearing from you, so it gives me creative juice to give you back information on my YouTube videos. So, thank you for all this time we've had. Now, let's just go to YouTube and you watch from there and talk to me. Okay, thanks. Don't forget, subscribe, share.